Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's only been the first week of March and I already have manga that's come in. I'm sure this won't be the last of it, so I may as well say this is part 1 of a March haul. Let's just get right into it. First series I got in the mail is volume 2 of A Sign of Affection. I ordered this a while ago when it was out of stock, but wasn't too stressed about when I would get it since, as I mentioned in a previous haul, I read this on the Crunchyroll app, so I'm pretty up to date with the latest chapters. Still very excited to get this physical copy because, as you can see, these are very pretty volumes and it'll be nice to reread in this format. Next series is Erased by Kei Sunbe, published by Yen Press in these hardcover omnibus editions. They're quite tall compared to the typical sized manga like Kodansha or Viz-Sig, who already do the taller volumes. But it's a 4 omnibus series with a 5th volume at the end. I haven't started reading this yet since I'm waiting for 2 and 5 to come in the mail. But it's a drama, mystery, supernatural seinen story that centers around Satoru Fujinuma, who has an ability to go back in time to save individuals whose lives are threatened in some way. I think it gets complicated when people he knows need saving or pass away. I don't know if that was like a really good summary about it, but I don't want to get too into it since it is a mystery, but I'm definitely looking forward to reading this since I've heard very good reviews about it, and I know it's quite a few people's favorite when it comes to mystery, so yeah. Next is Goodnight Punpun by Inio Asano, published by Viz-Sig. This is a super highly praised manga that seems to really hit deep with a lot of people, but not in the feel-good way, maybe more in like an unsettling way. I haven't started reading it yet because I feel like I'll need a lot of time to take it all in, but it follows Punpun Onodera as he grows up and the relationships he has and develops. As simple as that statement sounds, I'm pretty sure there will be a lot to unpack. It's a 13 volume series, but in these 6 omnibuses and a final single volume, so it's not the shortest read by any means. I hear Punpun is depicted in this bird form throughout the entire series, which kind of makes me think, like, what the heck is going on here? But it must be some kind of metaphor or maybe how he views himself, or I don't know what it is, but I'm assuming it may be explained when I read it, not sure. But I don't know exactly what trigger warnings may apply to this series, but it's definitely not a light-hearted read, so take care if you're planning on picking this up. Next is Hell's Paradise, Jigokuraku. I'm almost done collecting this, but unfortunately one of the volumes that's been out of stock for some time is, of course, volume 1. So I haven't been able to start reading it, but really looking forward to getting into the series. There's a lot of hype around it, so I want to be in the know. But hopefully I can start reading it before the anime comes out, but honestly, who knows. The art is so stylistic and the covers look amazing. It's been a really long time since I've gotten into a historical fantasy with ninjas and samurais, so pretty excited about getting into it. Going back to shoujos, the next volume I picked up is Ima Koi by Ayuko Hata, published by Viz Shoujo Beat. I read this as soon as I got it because I loved the cover and the art style. It's a pretty straightforward romance between Satomi and Yagyu. I think I pronounced that correctly. But it's basically boy helps girl, girl falls in love with boy, boy falls in love with girl. The tried and true formula. It's fluffy, it's nice without the stress that normally accompanies shoujo character leads. It's like comfort food for shoujo readers, so check it out if that sounds appealing to you. Next is Yuru Camp, and this one is volume 8. I have volumes 1 to 5 on my shelves, and I'm waiting for 6, 7, 9, and 10 to come in the mail. I actually wasn't sure if I'd stay interested in reading this because it seemed so casual, like just these group of girls who go camping. So that was the reason why I had only picked up 1 to 5 to begin with. But after reading the first couple volumes, I fell in love. It truly is as cozy as everyone says, so I highly suggest you pick this up. As I said before, I'm not a camper, but I'm learning so much about camping through this series. And the moments these girls experience makes me want to explore the outdoors and cook camp food. But besides that, the Yuru Camp spines and covers definitely are in my top favorites, so it'll look good on your shelves too. This one's another shoujo, Lovesick Ellie, and this one's volume 2. I also read this right after I got it, and I'm happy to report that I'm warming up to the series. I still get secondhand embarrassment from Ellie's tweets and some of the things that she does, but you know, gotta give the girl credit for being open about how she feels. It's not a complicated plot and centers around Eriko and Akira and how they navigate the relationship and things they're self-conscious about. So I think I'll continue to pre-order the volumes as they get released. Next is also another series that I originally wasn't sure about continuing to collect, and that is Sweetness and Lightning. I picked up volume 2 and 3 because I read volume 1 and wow, it's so wholesome. It follows Kohei and his daughter Tsumugi in this new reality of life without his wife who had passed away. They encounter Kotori, who happens to be Kohei's student, and she runs a restaurant with her mom, who seems to be quite busy and absent. This one night, Kohei and Tsumugi are trying to find somewhere to eat and end up at Kotori's family restaurant. With the help of Kohei, since she's by herself, they cook a meal together, and that's the start of more moments like that where they cook dishes. I don't know if other food manga do this, but the fun thing about this series is that they also include recipes, so I was pretty hungry after reading the first volume. It's such a sweet story that I'm looking forward to reading these 2 volumes. I just got these in the mail, and that's Tomo-chan is a Girl by Fumita Tanagita, published by 7 Seas. I had this on my list to collect, and since the first few volumes have been out of stock on Right Stuff for a while, when I saw that mini sale on Barnes & Noble, which I think was just 10% off or something, it was perfect because I bought on Barnes & Noble what Right Stuff didn't have in stock, and the rest I ordered from Right Stuff since it's cheaper. So volume 4 to 7 should be coming in sometime this week. So this is a comedy romance centered around a tomboy, Tomo, who's good friends with June, but is also in love with him, except that he's totally oblivious to her feelings and even to the fact that she's a girl. So Manga Tama mentions this series a lot and raves about it, so when I first heard the synopsis, I knew I wanted to collect it because comedy and romance are right up my alley. Interestingly enough, when I received these in the mail, Barnes & Noble accidentally also sent me volume 8 of Attack on Titan, which I didn't order at all, so not sure what happened there, but maybe this is the world telling me to read Attack on Titan. So after getting an old dessert manga magazine, which you can see when I got that in my previous manga haul, you can click the card up top to check it out. I came across another previously issued manga magazine, and that's this G Fantasy magazine issued in April 2021. I randomly came across this secondhand and picked it up immediately because it contains the last chapter of Horimiya. Well, last chapter, I believe, of volume 16, I think, which is chapter 123, because I think there are a couple extra chapters after, but If I'm wrong, you can correct me in the comments below. But chapter 123 is also the last episode of the anime. I showed Horimiya the manga volumes that I have in one of my manga collection videos and avidly expressed my love for this series. I'm inserting a spoiler warning here because I'll be flipping through some pages of this chapter. I'm just like super excited to have gotten this magazine. So please click out if you haven't read chapter 123 or watched the last episode of Horimiya. Which actually, speaking of the last episode of Horimiya, because Funimation is now a part of Crunchyroll, Horimiya is now available on Crunchyroll, which I'm so happy about because I had originally watched the anime through Funimation and there was just so many ads, but I've had the subscription for Crunchyroll for a very long time, so I'm just super happy to be able to rewatch it as many times as I want without any ads. But anyways, that was such a huge tangent. But yeah, if you haven't watched the last episode or read this chapter, I will see you next time. So here we are on graduation day. It gives me such nostalgia just looking at these pages because it reminds me of that feeling when you're at the end of a chapter in your life and you think back on the memories of those moments. Miyamura being introspective is so beautiful as he thinks about the impact Hori had on his high school experience. It's just pure love. This is easily one of my most favorite romance series because of the chemistry and dynamic between the two characters. It has serious moments, but also a lot of lighthearted, funny ones. So for me, this is perfection when it comes to slice of life. I actually drew an illustration of my take on one of the later panels in this chapter, which I'll eventually share a speed paint video of it. It's still one of the drawings that I've done that I'm really proud of and still really love. And that's all for this haul. So I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me while I showed you everything I had just recently gotten. As always, let me know in the comment section if you've checked out any of these series or have recommendations for me. I'd really appreciate it if you like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in my next video. Take care.